Hey there, welcome back to Reddit XO, the best channel for Reddit cheating stories. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification for more stories like these. Now, let's get into the video. Wife of 5 years cheated, and now I feel absolutely nothing for her. Nothing. And that scares me, with updates. Here are the main points. My wife, 34, and I 32. Wendy met via friends 7 years ago, dated for 2 years, and have been married for 5 years, just after I finished law school. For the first 2 years of our marriage, I worked as an associate at my firm, putting in 60 hours a week. That hard work has paid off, and I am doing well professionally. Wendy was a teacher at a private school before we married, but she resigned to pursue her master's degree in education, and is now enrolled in an educational doctorate program while working part-time. This was a bit of a financial burden since I wanted to pay off my college debts as soon as possible. But we made it work. When we first began dating, my wife was using an ancient laptop. It was in a box in a closet, which I discovered. She said that it had crashed and would no longer function. I plugged it in and attempted to turn it on. Nothing. Wendy took photographs of everything when we first met, especially selfies of herself with others. I ripped out the hard drive and went through it, knowing she had some images of us from that period. It seemed to be okay. The issue has to be someplace else. I waited until she went to go see her sister before plugging it into a SATA cable connected to my PC, wanting to surprise her with images from when we first began dating. There were photographs there. There are several photographs. Some pictures were of us on dates, laughing and smiling. They brought back a lot of happy memories. However, there were additional photos of her with other individuals. I recall one individual in particular. Bob was his name, and Wendy had dated him before me. There were several photographs of her and Bob. I wanted to take just our photographs, so I figured the simplest approach would be to categorize them by date, assuming that the most recent images would be of just us. However, when I sorted them by date, several of her photos with Bob were mixed in with photos of us. I started going through the images one by one and discovered that in a number of her pictures with Bob, when they were hugging and kissing, she was wearing a necklace/locket that I had bought her for her birthday the second year we were dating. I had to borrow money from my brother to purchase it. When I looked at the dates on the photographs, I saw a pattern. When she went her mother's home, or her sister's place to offer me peace and quiet on days and weekends, when school demanded my complete attention, she was up with Bob behind my back. I was enraged. It seemed like though fire ants were gnawing on my head, heart, and intestines. I was about to smash through the barriers when something broke and I felt numb. I started seeing and thinking in very cold, analytical ways. I transferred all of her photos, not just the ones I'd seen, on a flash drive. I packed a suitcase, got some suits, took the thumb drive, and drove across town to stay with my brother. I left her laptop hard drive into my PC, with a photo of her kissing Bob displayed on the monitor. The only reminder I left was a sticky note with an arrow pointing to the necklace/locket. Wendy called me from her mother's home, assuming that's where she was, but I didn't respond. It wasn't until a few hours later, when she likely returned to our apartment and saw the image on the display, that she bombarded my phone with VM and messages. They were all disregarded by me. I previously discussed separation and divorce with another associate in the family law section. We don't have any children or real estate since most of our money was spent on repaying my student debts and paying for her schooling. My company has wrapped the wagons around me, so her calls are routed to VM. She is not permitted on the property. Security already turned her away. Wendy found me at my brother's home, but he told her over the phone that if she came over, he put his Dobermans on her. He said she was yelling, weeping, and pleading over the phone. It did not make me sad or pleased in any way. I didn't feel anything. My marriage has ended. That's something I've accepted. But it's been 2 days and I'm still not feeling anything. There is no discomfort. There is no rage. Nothing. How is it possible that I no longer have emotions for her, that I have no one to see her again, that I have no desire to reconcile? Feeling nothing for her now that I'm alone with my thoughts frightens me. Is this something that will last? Is it possible that I'm still in shock? Is it permanent that I'm broken? On the plus side, I've never seen clearer answers in my instances. Story 2. My, female 32, husband, male 35, asked me for a paternity tests. We did it, and now I don't know how to go on. We've been married for 5 years and have been together for 8. The pregnancy had been planned. We both have steady jobs and a vibrant social life. I'm from Colombia. My mother's family is morally indigenous, whereas my father's family is more ethically Spanish. So, although I am dark and have a prominent nose, I have pale skin. Our kid, like my grandmother, has a darker demeanor. She has her father's nose, but I think she looks more like my family. So, ever since she was born, I've seen that my spouse was really anxious. He increased his work hours when she was 2 months old. He was witty and odd. He was often making jokes about how our kid didn't look anything like him. We then threw a dinner party for his pals. My grandmother fell and shattered her leg the same day. I asked him if he could spend the night with our kid. He quickly replied, yes. That irritated me, but I ignored it and headed to the hospital. When I returned, he practically demanded a paternity test. Oh my God, I blew up. I asked him if he was really treating us so badly because he suspected I had cheated. He continued repeating that it was justified, because his kid didn't look anything like him and so on. I simply remember yelling at him as if he didn't pay attention in 7th grade biology, or if he's a racist or whatever. Blowout fight occurs, I sleep in the nursery, and the following morning I'm phoning around for a paternity test appointment. It was rather pricey, and I told my husband he should pay for it. He accused me of procrastinating, and so forth. I informed him that I had never given him cause to distrust me, and that he had been punishing us for something I had never done. He paid for it, and we completed it. It took some time for the results to appear. He was giving us the cold shoulder the whole time. He remained at his friend's house. Later, it would be revealed that his pals had been pushing this problem and accusing me of being a cheater or whatever. The results are in, and no one is surprised. My hubby is the biological father. He suddenly alters his whole manner, cried. He apologized profusely. But it has occurred to far too many guys and so on. I said that I needed time and that I would take our kid to my grandmother's house. He is welcome to come visit and see our daughter anytime he wants, but I need space. So this is the first day of our separation, and I'm still furious with him. I'm not sure whether I'll ever be able to forgive him. Is divorce the only option? Update 1. We attempted couples counseling. He refused to back down. He insisted that males had a right to know whether the children were theirs. Prenatal paternity testing should be required. He refused to understand why he had harmed me. He insisted on not mistreating our daughter. Even though I had evidence in the form of home videos, he continued to deny it. After a few online sessions, there were hundreds of talks. I told him that if he had asked me at the start, all of this nonsense might have been avoided. The icing on the cake was discovering his Reddit feed, which was all MRA trash, on getting divorced from him. Update 2. He began giving the whole globe a totally distorted account of events. I told him I'd been having an affair and blew out on him when he demanded a paternity test. My father, too, believed him. He began posting such things on Facebook and Instagram. He has reached adulthood. Many individuals approached me to make fun of me. My parents, too, refused to speak to me. The folks that contacted me received the true account of events, which I also informed my parents about. I showed them video evidence of my spouse abusing our daughter. They apologized, but I told them I wasn't ready to forgive yet. They made assumptions without ever questioning me and insulted me. My lawyer contacted my husband, informing him that we would take legal action if he did not cease posting slander online. This was macho, allowing me to escape a more serious legal situation. Right now, I'm feeling really alone. The friends I thought I had called me anything derogatory. Even my parents were rude. Everything seems shaky right now. I have a daughter, a sister, and a grandmother. That's good, but they're not in the same city. I'm now seeking to migrate to that city. But first, we must determine custody. I have no doubt that I will be granted primary custody, since I earn more than my spouse and do not have to work as many hours. I'm essentially dealing right now by being busy at work and eating with friends once my kid has gone to bed. I'm hoping this improves shortly. Thank you for your time.